Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is time for another wonderful episode of the Bill
Bert
Podcast. There we go. You know, everybody just has it on a split screen, so it doesn't matter.
I get joy when I see a reporter when they're, and we're going to throw to Bill, and he's just frozen. Thanks, Jane. I love that. I don't know why that makes me happy.
It's it's good, clean fun. Nobody gets hurt.
It's a little thing, Bill. It's a little
What
thing.
is going on? You got the tie-dye shirt, man. Like, where were you performing, man?
No,
someplace where they're keeping it weird, man. Austin, Portland.
No, Georgia. My daughter, Georgia, makes tie-dyed shirts, and she made this for me. And it's funny. You get rid of the yellow sweat stains on your white shirt. So I have a bunch of tie-dyed shirts now.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. You know, that took me way back to the early 70s when tie-dye shirts first went mainstream. And I remember being in, where the hell was I? In like first grade. And I was so psyched that they had purple. And I just remember you tied everything just was tied up in knots. Is that all you do? And you just
you can do it with rubber bands, or you can just tie the shirt in like 3 knots and then dunk it. But the ones with the rubber bands, you'd grab this part and then you'd pull it out and then you'd rubber band, and then it would give you a spiral from the stomach or the shoulder. You could do it out from the shoulder. I actually was really into that kind of shit as a kid. I think my dad probably thought I was gay.
that would do it.
Oh, yeah, the fact that
70s and 80s, if you were just really into tie-dyeing shirts for his generation, he probably thought he had a little queen on his hands.
Oh, reupholstering
Not saying you're not, Bert.
Reupholstering a couch. I used to reupholster couches in college, and I would get fabric, and I would do the whole couch. I'd pull the sides off, and I was like really into it. I don't know what part of my personality that like loves that shit, but I love like the knick-knackiness of it, you know?
Well, since I started watching people redo cars, one of my favorite things is when they take it over to the person to do. I love when the engine comes back and it's all painted and it's clean. I love that, and I love when the interior comes back and just to see what they're gonna do with like the colors and the seats and all that type of stuff. I mean, I don't know. As a college student, there was forever some old ass couch sitting out on a sidewalk that had been fucked on, drooled on, and all of this stuff. So if you knew how to rip that off and reupholster it and put some new cushions in there, that's a pretty viable skill there.
I would do it for free. I loved it. You know what? I'm at a real impasse right now because I need a car, and I'm having a really hard time finding a car that I want to drive, that I feel like I'd look good in, that isn't $100,000. Like I'm having a really hard time going, like, I'm not a pickup truck guy. So if I was a pickup truck guy, I could just get a cool pickup truck and then rock that, right? We have an SUV, so all SUVs are out of the thing. You go to sedans and you look at sedans, and it's like certain sedans, like I feel like my body is bigger than, like
Get Cadillac.
Man, I'm having a really hard time. Honestly, Cadillacs are too.
Not $100,000. You can get plenty of nice things.
I'm not spending. By the way, I'm not spending $100,000. I refuse to spend $100,000. So when you said redo a car, I was actually talking to Snoop about this the other day. I was like, I know you got a car guy. Can you set me up with a car guy in LA who I wouldn't mind, like a nice, like you have your pickup truck and you enjoy driving that.
I love it.
Could that be your only car? Would you let that be your only car?
Yeah, I could. I would be a little concerned with parking it in certain areas because it's a clean truck. And trucks, since I bought my truck in 2011, they've really become popular. They really, really, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that has become popular where, when those Mecum auto shows, those auctions first came on, I mean, it was just Shelby, Mopar, GTO. It was the same stupid cars. Not stupid cars. I love all those cars. But it was just this, we got a Superbird, It's just like this, one Daytona and was outlawed. It was the same damn stories. And I feel like since then, like a bunch of other cars has become like, popular. I can't literally not even remember what the fuck I was talking. What was your question?
No, like, could that be your only car? Because I want to get a nice convertible.
Oh yeah, I know. So then my truck got super popular when I bought it. And afterwards, then trucks got popular just because I think people got sick of the same old thing. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say.
And so you're afraid that people would see your truck and realize that's a lot of money in parts. Let's steal it.
Or just steal it because they like it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing. For you, dude, like, I feel like there's a couple of really cool, like I love an Oldsmobile Cutlass, T-tops. You know, if you want to white trash it up, there's things to do with that. Because this is the deal, is I like those Restomods where like you can, you know, the whole underneath could be like 2020.
Yeah.
You know, and then in the car can look like 1970, whatever you want. And they can hide in the console a place to plug in for your phone and all the latest stuff.
Ooh,
but when
like
you're driving it can look all original. But like what I found, like with my truck, when I go to take a turn, I literally have to grab underneath the seat so I don't slide into the door because of just, you know, it was like a farm truck. You know what I mean? So it's not really like they were excited about independent suspension. Remember that when they would be driving over the rocks, the railroad ties or whatever? So everybody, who I asked, you know, if I can fix the suspension a little bit on it, you know, beyond a sway bar, they're always saying dropping it down. And it's like, what I always liked about a truck was riding up a little bit higher. Yeah. I thought it looked better. I don't mind when they're sitting down, but they've taken them now. Now that, you know, they cut out inside the bed and the tires are sticking up. Those are cool. It's just not my style. But, dude, why don't you get like a Grand National? Get a Buick Grand National. Because you couldn't drive it anywhere, someone would steal it. But like, how about you get? That's how excited I am about cars. I'm asking you questions while answering them. Get like one of those, like those early '80s. Remember all those guys who sort of like side deal weed? You know those cars, the Monte Carlo, the Buick Regal.
Oh, I remember the Monte Carlo.
Yeah, those little 2-door ones. Those early '80 ones to like '85. Right around '85, I think, or '86, they started having the aerodynamic headlights. It wasn't quite it took me a while to get used to those, but like, dude, one of those was some fucking old school, like Kreicher rims with the white lettering on the tires.
Yeah.
Sort of looks like a stock car. That could be a badass car.
See, I have a hard time looking at cars and going, every car I seem to like is like $1,500 a month. And I go, I can't pay that. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if one day I'll get comfortable paying it, but I just cannot pay that. I know
that's a mortgage. That's a mortgage in any reasonable state. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I go, that's the cars. Those are the cars I like. That I go, oh, I love the S-Class Mercedes. Is a cool looking car. 7 Series BMW. That's a cool looking car. And I feel like it's a big bodied. I want a big bodied car. And then I go, for $18,000, I can just get like a Cadillac convertible, like 76 or 72.
Dude, you could get such a sick fucking Cadillac. I know a bunch of guys that could build that thing. You could keep the thing looking like Nick Nolte's fucking caddy on the outside.
Yeah.
And then underneath. But people who know cars look underneath. You can always see the shiny shit, glowing underneath. But there's
I would love the underneath to be dialed in and like have a place for my cell phone, everything like that. But have that Nick Nolte baby blue, like, caddy body.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know why more people don't do that.
Yeah.
It's good for the environment. You're recycling. Granted, you are ripping a bunch of shit out and putting a bunch of new stuff in, but it is and then also you rescue one of those old cars. Dude, there's some, like, a lot of people get the ones from the 60s. There's some ones from the 70s before they shrunk them down that are really, like, sort of rare because I don't think that people necessarily liked after, like, there was a period in there where they had this new front end in the early 70s. I forget which one it was, but it kind of tanked. People didn't like it, and you can tell because they only had it for a couple of years before they went back to more of a traditional one, like the 75, that front end. It's somewhere between like 71 and 74. They had this front end that I don't think I might be wrong here, but I don't think it did that well. But now when I see them, because I don't see a lot of those, I'm like, oh my God, I got to look one up right now. I fucking love those. Let me look. See,
like, that's my thing, Bill. I go, why don't more people do that? Your car should be enjoyable to drive. Now, like, I just can't get into like what I'd be comfortable paying for is like, and I got to be real honest with you, like the Camrys and Accords, they're really expensive. In my opinion, I think they're overpriced for that car. Everything's overpriced to a point where I just go, how did cars get so expensive? And then you look and go, why wouldn't I? I would love to drive that car every time. Fucking top down, light a cigar, enjoy your ride over the hills.
Exactly, dude. 71, 72, 73, they changed the front end 3 times. If you look up the Caddy. So I'm kind of partial to that 72, because I want to say that when Elvis got buried, his funeral, that was 77. You think? I like the 72 personally.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, it's a sled, dude. A 2-door. You get a 2-door. Yeah.
2-door, white on white. Ooh, white with a maroon interior. 72 Cadillac Eldorado convertible.
That car is so you, it's ridiculous.
It really is. Bill,
I gotta tell you, you know, you like
$9,000.
That's it, $9,000. You could take another 30 grand if you really wanted to do it up. Another 30 grand just underneath, dude. It would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
30, maybe a little more than that. But I mean, under 50, you could have this sick. That's half of what you were talking about paying. You could have this sick ass car. Nobody's got that. I have not seen that car out here in LA, white with maroon, which is why you might not want to talk about it here, because you're gonna have a bunch of people going Bert as you're driving down the street. But like, yeah, I'm telling you, one of these days I'm gonna get the 67 Eldorado. That's the one that I like, because I'm not a speed guy. I like cruising. I'm an old man.
Me too.
I got this Irish sweater I bought. What do you call a jumper, whatever the hell they call them over in Ireland. I got that, and I smoke cigars. I love the right lane, dude. All of I feel the left lane, that's for the kids. That's for the kids. Let them do all that crazy shit.
I feel like I became older at a time where things weren't set up for older people. It's like now it's Teslas and this shit. I go, I wish I had been I had been my age today in 2002 when the Cadillac DTS was out. That was such a great sedan. Cadillac
you can still get it. You can still get it. It's 18 years
old. The
The
bodies of those cars are so small. They're really small, and they're not like they're everything's compact.
I get it. You want a big car. All right. Well, there you go.
Adam Sandler had a DTS. MTV used to have a Day in the Life, was a documentary show, and they profiled Adam Sandler. And Adam Sandler was 35 and in a Cadillac DTS. It was like an old man's car. My dad had one. And I saw Adam Sandler, a Hollywood star in a DTS. And it looked like the coolest fucking thing. And then I moved to LA. That was when I was in New York. I moved to LA and I saw Kiefer Sutherland in a Cadillac DTS. And I was like,
look this car up now. I'm not familiar with this one.
It was. And Bill, I meet my wife and I'm like, I'm going to go buy a car, right? So I go and I test drive the DTS.
Oh, yeah. I know that car. Yeah, they had the tires with the yellow stripe around it.
Yeah.
That's a sick car. I love that car.
Sick car. And so I said to my wife, I test drove it and I go, I'm getting a DTS. And she goes, honey, you are not that old. You're like 29. And she's like, this is an old man car. She's like, get something young, like who you are. So I ended up getting one of my favorite cars I've ever had, Yukon Denali. That was a hot fucking car.
Was that a big SUV?
Big SUV, and I got a great deal, $500 a month, nothing down. The dude kind of fucked it up, and then they tried to take it back from me. So they're like, I think we gave you too much of a deal on that. And I was like, I already had it 18 days. You can't take it back. And so that was the law, is if you had it over 18 days, they couldn't. And I
would think once you drive away, it's done.
I was told.
Have they ever called up, hey, I think we fucked you too bad on that car. Let's have you come back down here.
They did, and they tried to get the car back. It was $500, $550 a month, nothing down. And the dude, it was his first day. And Dave Williamson, the guy comic I work with now, told me long after that, you always want to call a car dealership up and go, hey, I was just in there the other day. I was talking to the new guy. What's his name? And they go, oh, you mean Bill? And he goes, yeah, Bill. Send me over to Bill. Because he goes, the new guy, they always want to close deals for to get some sales under his belt. So you can always work a deal with the new guy. They always will give you a better deal with the new guy. So this guy must have been brand new, $550 a month. And then they realized they fucked up, and I was already on the road. The car was home, and I couldn't get to the car. I was on the road, and the thing they used was, and this is how long ago this is that I didn't give them a landline. All I had was a cell phone. And they were
That's
like,
when you go, yeah, it sounds to me like you're reaching for shit. So
yep.
I'm done with this phone call. I'll see you in court. Bye.
Yep. And so
like I'm going to go back there to we didn't stick our dick far enough in your ass. Well, let me go back into the showroom. Get the fuck out of here.